Hi buddy, I will show you a method how the vouching of other expense can be done. If you go through one or two examples, you maybe learn all the vouching in the similar pattern. Base document. Auditor is required to examine certain base document. For electricity expense, what are the base documents to be checked? Electricity bill is the base document. If checking this base document, auditor will get the information. So we classified information available, then the vouching process, finally the proper accounting and disclosure. This is the way we classified our vouching expense of indirect expenditure. Electricity bill, the words are common and it is applicable for all vouching transaction. This is the base document as far as the payment of electricity bill is concerned. Ensure that the bills pertains to the relevant period under audit. Diesel bill, if there is a backup facility, then if there is a power failure, then there is a generator needed and diesel is required for running. What are the informations available? Total power consumption and total cost incurred by the organization can be readily available if we check the electricity bill. Some information will be available if we check the expenditure bill. Any expenditure bill you check, you will get an information. Vouching process. Take the system generated printout of expenditure and ensure that the expenditure is supported by the electricity bill and diesel bill. It is the base of voucher that, thumb rule of voucher that, the voucher should bear supporting bills. So the system generated report should be supported by the electricity bill or diesel bill as the case may be. Trace the payment entry by examination of cash book or bank book. Check how the payments was made by looking the cash book and bank book. Ensure that the payment has been made. Ensure that the expenditure bears the approval from the concerned authority. This is the main aspects of the vouching. System generated report printout should supported by the relevant bill and the same should be bear the approval from the concerned authority is a common point. And how the payment is made, that is common for all expenditure. For cash book or bank book examination, we will have an idea about the payment. Last is the accounting system, how the expenditure is accounted, whether it is accounted under the pay right accounting head. Ensure that the accounting entry has been properly passed and reflected in the system by debiting the right head of account with right amount. That's the main point. You have to debit it in the right name of the account and the right amount of the account. Year-end adjustment of the outstanding expense. If there is any year-end closure, any outstanding expenditure has to be duly accounted for. Security deposit is shown under asset side of the financial statement. That is the disclosure aspects. This is the pattern. We will examine the another example. Documents to be examined. Base document. What are the documents to be examined? What are the information available? Vouching process is the common process for all indirect expenditure. Proper accounting and disclosure also the common point. If you adopt this format, you can learn all. Repair bill. This is the base document as far as the payment of repair and maintenance expense is concerned. Ensure that the bills pertains to the relevant period under audit. It should not be bear any previous year bill. AMC. If there is organization adopt preventive maintenance, then has to check the AMC contract. If you check this document of electricity or repair, whatever, some information is available. By checking the repair bill, what information you will be available? Total expenditure incurred by the organization for the year for regular repair and preventive maintenance can be readily available. Vouching process is common. Take system generated printout, attach the supporting bill and get the approval from the concerned authority is the common point. How the payment is made, that's also the common point. Check the cash or bank payment and the proper accounting and disclosure also the common point. Ensure that the accounting entry has been properly reflected in the system by debiting the right head of right amount. Right head and right amount is the common point. Year-end adjustment has to be made outstanding expense And if the repairs bills exceeding the stipulated limit by the income tax authority, ensure that these are the additional point specific to this case. TDS matter. Next is the rent expense. Rent agreement. See, what are the documents to be examined? Rent agreement has to be examined. What information is available and what are the vouching process? How it is properly accounted in the financial statement. Rent agreement. This is the base document. Wording also common. I made the wording also common. This is the base document as far as the payment of rent expense is concerned. Check the due date for payment and other terms and conditions. If you check the rent agreement, what can be available? Total expenditure incurred by the organization for the rent expense can be readily available. Vouching process is common. I don't explain it again and again. Only the additional points will be mentioned here. Trace the payment by checking cash and bank, common point. Ensure that the expenditure bear the approval from the concerned authority is a common point. Ensure that the TDS, that is the main specific case point here. Then ensure that the proper accounting entry has been reflected in the system by debiting the right head with the right amount. That means the rent account debtor to landlord. Year-end adjustment is the common point. And insurance expenditure. Policy copy or cover note. We checking the policy copy and cover note. What are the information available? What is the vouching process? How it is reflected in the accounting system? These are the structure for learning the voucher. Policy cover note. This is the base document as far as the insurance expenditure is concerned. What are the information available? Total expenditure incurred by the organization with respect to the insurance can be readily available. What are the vouching process? It is a common. Take a system generated printout. All these are common points. Proper accounting, proper head, year-end adjustment. All these are the common point. Only you have to bother about what are the documents to be examined. This you have to learn. What are the information available also seems to be common. Vouching process is common. Proper accounting entries and disclosure also common. If there is any specific matter applies to the case, only need to apply. Postage and courier. These are the common things. What are the documents to be examined? Is the new information available common. Vouching process common. Proper accounting and disclosure also common. Postage and courier. This is the base documents as far as the courier expenditure is concerned. If you checking the courier bill, what information is available? Total expenditure incurred by the organization for postage and courier can be availed readily. What are the vouching process? I am telling some general point. Common point I am not discussing. The specific points only discussing. Ensure that the strong internal controls exist to track the use of courier service. To ensure that the personal usage by the employee is not permitted, check the internal control system. Strong internal control system. It is the main petty cash related expenditure and they require control. Proper accounting and disclosure also common point. Ensure that the accounting entry has been properly reflected in the system also the common point. And year-end adjustment also common point. Traveling expense local. What are the documents to be examined? This is the main vouching expense. TA bills and vouchers. This is the base document as far as the local travel expenditure is concerned. Ensure that the traveling expense has been approved by the appropriate authority based on the eligibility criteria. Based on the managers of high people will travel by a flight, but the low level people will use the bus and public transportation. Normally people working in internal audit department is or sales departments, marketing departments are making more travel. If you checking these documents, what are the information available? There is some information is available if you check the documents. The total expenditure incurred by the organization for traveling expense can be readily available. Vouching process is the common. Only one is the additional point. Ensure that the business travel request from the concerned person is submitted to the appropriate authority and there is a approval. Proper accounting also the common point. The entry has been accounted in the right head with right head of expense. Traveling expense foreign. What are the documents to be checked? The travel TF bills and vouchers BTR forms. This is the main document. The wording also same as far as the traveling expenditure foreign is concerned. Ensure that the traveling expense has been approved by the appropriate authority based on eligibility criteria. Normally such expenses are incurred for the topmost officials of the organization for the purposes of business. Business travel request form, if any, should be filed from the person concerned showing the purposes of the journey. What are the information available? Total expenditure incurred by the organization for traveling expense foreign can be readily available. Vouching process also common except one specific point which I am discussing. Ensure that the business travel request BTR is submitted to the appropriate authority and get it approved. If the expenditure is exceed then the stipulated limit, then the approval from the RBI also required. These are the main two additional points. RBI permission, the last point. Take RBI permission if the amount of expenditure in foreign currency exceed the stipulated limit. Then proper accounting and disclosure is the common point. Next is the advertisement expense. Bills from the advertisement agencies, agreement with the agencies. We have to, auditor has to check this. If check that, what are the information available, what are the vouching process and how it is accounted and reflected in the system. This is the base document as far as the local advertisement expenditure is concerned. Ensure that the bill has been properly received from the party. If there is advertisement contract, go through the details of the terms and conditions and periods of the contract. Type of the media advertisement is proposed. Check whether the advertisement budget is set by the management. If yes, whether there is a budget is set, whether it is properly accounted, properly taken care, it is not exceeded the budget. What are the information available? Total expenditure in connection with budget can be available. The vouching process is common. Only one specific aspect is the tedious aspects. Then proper accounting and disclosure also the common point. These are the way I am suggesting you to study the vouching of other expenditure. Thank you for watching the video and have a nice day ahead.